So, if you're a self-publisher on Amazon KDP, you already know that making a great book is really only half the battle, right? The other half is pricing it correctly. And look, an effective pricing strategy isn't just some small detail, it's literally the key to unlocking your maximum possible income.
And the potential here, it is massive. I mean, we are talking about self-publishers out there who are earning 6 and in some cases even 7 figures just from their KDP royalty earnings alone. So yeah, it's absolutely possible.
But here is the question you've got to ask yourself. Is your current pricing strategy holding you back? A few really small, super common mistakes could be costing you thousands of dollars in profit every single year. Okay, let's dive into this. To get the most out of your royalties, you first have to understand exactly how Amazon calculates them for paperbacks and hardcovers. And don't worry, the math is actually pretty straightforward. Here's how it breaks down. For paperbacks and hardcovers, Amazon gives you a fixed 60% royalty rate. So, you take 60% of your book's list price, then you subtract the printing cost, and whatever's left over, that's your royalty. Now keep in mind that printing cost is going to change depending on things like page count, ink type, and trim size, but that 60% rate, that stays constant.
Let's run through a quick example. Let's say your book is listed for $15. Okay, so 60% of that is $9. Now, if the printing cost for this specific book is $5, you just subtract that from the $9 and boom, you're left with a royalty of $4 per sale. Simple as that.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, but is changing my price by just $1 really going to make that big of a difference? The answer is a huge, resounding yes. And this right here is where so many publishers miss out.
Just take a look at this 120-page paperback. If you price it at $7.99, you earn a royalty of $2.35. But by just bumping that price up by one single dollar to $8.99, your royalty jumps all the way to $2.95. That is an extra 60 cents in your pocket for every single copy you sell. And here's where it really starts to add up. Over the course of 100 sales, that $1 price bump isn't small at all. It adds up to an extra $60 of pure profit. Let's take it even one step further. If that same book sells 100 copies every month, that tiny, seemingly insignificant $1 price increase, it generates an extra $720 in profit over a single year.
And remember, that's just for one book. Now imagine you've got a catalog of 10 or 20 or maybe even 50+ books. That $1 adjustment on each of those can easily translate into thousands and thousands of extra dollars in your bank account every year. To the customer, an extra dollar is nothing. But to you, the publisher, it is a total game changer.
So if a single dollar can make such a huge difference, why do so many publishers fall right into the low price trap?
Well, the trap works like this. Someone finds a successful book, they create a copy of it, and then they try to undercut the original on price. It feels like a smart move, but really it's just a race to the bottom. You simply cannot make any meaningful income this way.
I mean, the numbers just don't lie. If you price a book at $5.99, you might get a royalty of just 79 cents. That means you'd earn a measly $79 for every 100 sales. But that same exact book priced at $8.99 can get you a $2.59 royalty. That's $259 per 100 sales. You're earning over 3 times more money just by refusing to compete on who can be the cheapest. And here's the psychological kicker. Pricing your book too low doesn't just hurt your wallet, it actually devalues your product in the customer's mind. A lot of times, customers will associate a really low price with low quality. They see the word cheaper and their brain just translates it to cheap.
So, the whole point here is to flip this script. Instead of racing to the bottom, you need to adopt a strategy that is built on value, not just on price.
Your new goal should be really simple. Produce the absolute highest quality book in your niche, period. When you create undeniable value, you earn the right to charge a premium price, which in turn is going to generate the highest possible royalty for you.
And you gotta remember, people are more than willing to pay more for higher perceived value. They will absolutely spend extra on a product that feels like it was made specifically for them. Think about it. A generic planner might sell for $8.99, but a homeschooling parent will happily pay $12.99 for a planner that's designed for their unique needs.
So how do you actually put all this into practice? Well, here is a simple 4-step framework for setting a smarter, value-driven price for all of your books. Okay, 4 things to really think about. First up, market research. Really dig in and analyze your competitors' quality and see what they're pricing things at. Second, you got to know your customer. Who are they and what are they really willing to pay? Third, you absolutely have to factor in your print costs. Use Amazon's calculator so you know your numbers cold. And fourth, set a firm royalty threshold. Decide on the absolute minimum you'll accept before you even think about a list price.
And hey, if you're not sure where to start with that last step, here's a great personal guideline. Aim for a minimum royalty of at least $2 per unit sold. This just makes sure that every sale is actually worth your time, and it helps you build a really sustainable business.
And of course, to justify that premium price, you have to deliver premium value across the board. We're talking high-quality, targeted content, a professional cover design, a flawless book description, and using A-plus content to really show off the book's interior. These are the things that build trust and make that higher price a total no-brainer for your customer.
All right, and 2 last pro tips for you. First, when Amazon auto-fills prices for other countries, go back in and manually adjust them so they all end in .99. It's a tiny psychological trick, but it really works. And second, if you want to test a price change, only do it on one book at a time. This way, you can accurately measure the impact without messing with the sales momentum of your whole catalog.
So as you move forward, I want you to stop thinking about having the lowest price. Instead, ask yourself this. You've poured your time, your effort, and your creativity into this book. What is the true value of that work? Price it accordingly.